And this is the Central Florida Computer Society's TechSIG on the fourth Tuesday of every month. Starting out with a small group, I'm Mike Ungerman, and Stan Wallner, who's normally our SIG leader, called me and said that they had some heavy rain and lightning storms up in his area of Orlando, and his power was out, and it had been out for about a half hour so far, and he had no idea when the power was going to be restored. So
Oh, that stinks.
this is us.
Well, it is Florida.
Yep. And my son's up in Nebraska, and they have had a terrible tornado season this year. Some small towns that had major destruction. And,
Yeah, I heard that.
but even in Omaha itself, they had grapefruit-sized hail that was destroying things.
Wow.
And I'm just imagining, something the size of a grapefruit coming down and hitting a car or hitting a person.
Mm-hmm.
If they're out. So here comes Dick Vogel.
Yeah. In past years, Comcast was very unreliable. The last few years, I've had no outages, no problems. I was amazed. I don't know if they're doing something differently or just getting lucky.
Is Comcast still cable? Coax?
In my development, it's mostly yeah, what do they call it now?
Fiber?
Fiber optics, yeah.
Oh, it is fiber optic. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they did the entire development about 2 years ago in Boynton Beach.
They're going that way, but so it's been almost a year now that I've had AT&T fiber, and they came through and they trenched, cutting the cable, the Spectrum cable a couple of times. So Spectrum had to come out and repair it. And I told them I was going to switch to AT&T anyway, but they still repaired it. And I said, well, how come you guys aren't putting fiber in? They said, because that's our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is cable. They've got too much invested in it.
Yeah. And
now it appears that the direction that Spectrum is going in is streaming. If you sign up as a Spectrum customer right now, you get a streaming box, not a cable box.
Huh.
And it's, it's kind of like a Roku or a Amazon Fire Stick. And it's got all the Spectrum channels that your plan covers, but it also has the Netflix apps and Prime Video apps and things like that. So it's all incorporated in one box. It connects to the cable, but it's using the internet signal. It's not using the cable signal.
So is the idea there to service customers that don't have a smart TV?
Could be. Could be.
Interesting.
Or you just put it on your smart TV and connect it up to one of the video connections, I guess. And just choose that as one of your inputs. I have a Google TV. It's a Sony, and I use most of Google's applications for streaming, but I also have a Roku box. And because there's several things that Roku carries that Google doesn't have an app for. So occasionally I'll switch back to the Roku. But
a little while ago, we realized we were paying for 4 different streaming services. We just said, this is just, we were going to just try them out, and we just kept them. So we're down to Amazon and Netflix now, and then we'll see. But I think at some point, is it Netflix that's going to start showing commercials, or maybe has already done that?
You can still buy, commercial free with Netflix, but I think the price is going up. The Cord Cutter channel was discussing that
Sure it will.
a couple days ago.
I just read today. I subscribe to the ad blocker. No, I forget the name of the name of the software.
Ad Blocker Plus, Ad Blocker Pro.
It might be called ad blocker. I forget. Anyway, I read that that YouTube is going to start using their own servers to host the ads because ad blockers typically look for specific servers, and if YouTube uses their own servers, then makes it more difficult for the ad blockers to actually block the ads. So
You don't think at some point they'll find a way to block those too?
probably, but it makes it for a while there. It's going to make it a little more difficult. So at least that's what it said in the newsletter. Let's see if I can find what I forget the name of the software now.
Those just joining us, I'll wait until I see video and let's see, AI. I was wondering where that was, Huey, so I wasn't able to start it, I guess. I looked at the AI drop down and it didn't really tell me to start anything. Stan is not here tonight because big heavy storm in the northwest section of Orlando area. Power is out. They asked me to start the group. We've just been chatting. The discussion was centered on ads on YouTube and ad blockers, which Sean said he just added.
Nobody can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
I've got a red exclamation point next to my microphone.
well, maybe it doesn't like you.
Loud and clear.
It's not the only technology that doesn't like me today.
Yeah, YouTube, at least the guys that have big channels, they can get sponsors. So instead of using YouTube ads, they do their own advertisements. My channel today is brought to you by so-and-so.
Right.
And then hopefully you get a short ad, but in some cases I've seen it take up, 4 or 5 minutes. And of course I fast forward through it unless it's live streaming. So. And I went to the premium YouTube when it first came out, or when I first looked at it, probably about a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe, just to get rid of it. And I watch probably easily 60% of my content daily is on YouTube itself. And it was just getting to be a pain to have ads starting out and then ads in the middle, especially if I was watching a YouTube movie. But now they have these, the ads in the content itself as well.
Yeah. In terms of the cable, it made reference to Comcast before. They have something nice if you use a DVR to record, which I tend to do just so that I can fast forward through the ads, which you can always do with any DVR. But they have a built-in feature that it recognizes when it's an ad, and you can fast forward, click one button, and it'll stop fast forwarding a fraction of maybe 10 seconds before the ad finishes.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm in New York, I don't have that.
I have a similar device. I have a TiVo box.
Yeah.
And it auto detects the commercials and fast forwards from one to the next without me touching the remote.
That's cool.
I had one of the original TiVos, the quad.
Yeah, I've been a customer since 2000.
And something went wrong with the box. They kept saying it was me. They refused to acknowledge that it was hardware. They had me do a factory reset, then upgrade the software. It was really causing me a lot of pain. And I had subscribed to the annual TV guide so that I could get 14 days worth of schedule.
Oh, right.
And I just said, I can get everything I need from other sources. And I just on both TVs that we take over the air signals. I just connected them to the TV's terminals, and I'll occasionally switch to it if there's something locally over the air that I want.
My first TiVo was dial-up. I was on like a phone line.
Yeah. I had the replay TV. Remember that one? That was the
Yep.
competitor.
Yep. I was using a phone service called, I don't know if anybody remembers it, called Vonage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Mike, you and I both had that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
I was using the Vonage dial-up service with my first TiVo.
I also had one of the early TiVos and subscribed to the schedule. I really liked it, and I don't know why I stopped. There was a reason.
I have a TiVo in my living room that is 14 years old, or 15 years old at this point, and I haven't paid a dime since I bought it on service fees, because I think I paid $300 or $350 for a lifetime service.
Yeah.
So I don't pay any monthly fees at all for my DVRs.
It's great that they're still honoring that. The replay TV that I had, somebody gave to me, and it had that purchased already into it. So I didn't pay anything, and I used it for many years. And that was a pretty good deal too.
Yeah, I have one in my living room and one in my bedroom, and I have them connected together over coax, TCP IP over coax, which I guess is called MoCA.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can stream between my two devices over the coax.
That's cool.
It looks like Stan is joining us. Maybe he got his power.
Yep, looks like it. Yeah.
I am. The power just came back on from 4:30 to almost 7:30. I
Wow.
was just setting up my UPS with my phone in the kitchen when it came on. Wow.
How much time can you get off of that UPS to keep it?
I don't know. It was the one I talked about last month. I just got the battery for it a couple of weeks ago. It's a Best Buy Geek Squad it came with XP and Windows, I think 3.1 on it. And it cost me $20 for a battery. But anyway, didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Glad I made it.
Welcome.
No, we're just chatting about old technology.
Stream of thought. We haven't gone around the room yet or talked about anything in particular. So a little bit on AI and how AI has helped me with some of the research projects that I needed to do, including our dissolution, and a little bit on cable and fiber internet, and a little bit on ad blockers. So
I just finished testing out or using up my free credits for a live AI voice transcription grammar checker that works with ChatGPT, and you instead of normally I dictate into a document, and this company that offers that service offers for $4. They charge $4 a month. I haven't subscribed to it, but I used up my free credits. And you dictate, and they feed your dictation through ChatGPT in real time and correct your grammar as you're typing, as you're dictating.
That's cool.
Suppose you don't like the grammar that they're suggesting.
Well, it gives you your text and their text, and you can pick between the two.
Because typically Word will grammar check what I type in, and a couple of times I didn't like what they were suggesting and just ignored it.
Drew, are you paying for ChatGPT?
No, I'm not.
Is anybody on here? Okay.
I just
No.
need
The
to
only thing that I
experiment.
pay for is I pay for it's a Discord product. or it's managed through Discord. The one where you can make images.
Mid,
Midjourney,
Midjourney, yeah.
yeah, and I found that to be worthwhile.
I think I tried that when Huey posted it some time ago, just because I have Discord anyway, but I just wanted to see what it would do. And it's Discord has got such a wide range of available options that is built into it, different types of macros and scripting, things along those lines. And I haven't enabled them at all on our BBS. But you know, it's future stuff that we could probably look into if I wanted to, or if we wanted to. Right now, just
With
running
AI at the top of the screen, the Zoom screen, I see the little AI button is blinking. Does that mean
Yeah.
anything relative to
Yeah,
that?
that means it's working.
Well,
It's
you enabled it,
doing
Huey,
fine.
but I wasn't when I first came on. And I started it in the club's account. So when I started it, I didn't have the choice of transcript or meeting summary. It did say learn more about how your data is used and so on, but I didn't
I,
see anything to turn it on.
yeah, and I'm not sure. Sometimes it starts by itself. Other times I went to get it and it wasn't there. So the
Yeah.
only way anyone can see it is the person or the people who are in charge can go to the Zoom website in the account and then download it and then
Yeah.
share it.
And is that only if you're recording to the cloud, or it
No,
just does
no,
it anyway?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't.
But I know in the Stug account, it always starts by itself. And on this account, I can't get it to start by itself. And and I've looked through all of the settings and can't find one that tells me tells Zoom to do it automatically. So I don't know how it's being
Which
done.
foot were you standing on at the time?
I'm sorry.
Which foot were you standing on at the time?
My
Maybe
big
one
toe on
foot
the right
for.
foot.
Well, let's just go around the room. Harry, what are you working on this month, or what did you work on last month, tech-wise?
Nothing unusual, just normal few spreadsheets updating, you know. That's why I didn't even bother upgrading my Word software. Yeah. So nothing creative to report. I'm sorry.
Since you mentioned that, I don't know if it was an unsolicited ad, email, whatever, but they were talking about a very deeply discounted price for Office 2020. I don't think it's Office 2024, Office 2021.
Yeah,
And it was,
I bought 2021 a few years ago off of some website for $50.
yeah, it was 49.95 or something like
Yeah,
that.
Now I think
yeah.
it's even cheaper.
Yeah. And
PC World, maybe?
it could have been, or it might have been a Kim Commando thing, and you clicked on her link. But then they talked about the disadvantages that it's only good through like 2027 or something like that, and that Microsoft's going to drop all support for it. They want everybody to be on Office 365, or whatever they're calling it.
Well,
It's 365. And it also said that the online features that you get with a 365 subscription, like the ability to dictate and have it wind up in the transcript and auto go from voice to typing, is only available on 365 and not on Office 2021.
yeah. My 21 looks just like a regular old-fashioned Office. It doesn't have the new AI stuff in it, but it works as an office suite and does what I need.
Yeah, it depends which of them. I only need the word processing and Excel. I don't need the others. So, and, you know.
I will frequently copy text between my document dictator and Copilot and just tell it to fix it and copy and paste it back. Do it the cheap way.
Yeah.
So I put a link in the chat about validproductkey.com, and you can get Windows product keys on there. Office 2021 Professional Plus 1490.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
They've also got server keys and Windows if you want to upgrade to Windows Pro, either 11 or 10. If you needed Visio or Project, those kind of things, those are all available on there.
Well, I'll ask the obvious question then. Is everybody on the screen other than me already on Windows 11?
I am.
I'm on both.
No, I've done a couple Windows 11 installations for some friends, but I'm still on 10. And my computer doesn't support it unless I want to go work around it, either with some of the kludges or the registry hacks.
Right.
Yeah.
In the back of my mind, I want to see what happens after October next year. We know now that Microsoft is going to offer to continue to give you security updates for a fee, and that the fees are going to go up each year. But I'm fairly comfortable with the security of my system that I don't think I need the updates. So I might just keep it. But my biggest concern has always been that Quicken has been our accounting system for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. I mean, I go all the way back to the Apple II and its version of Quicken. So that goes back a ways. And we're kind of bonded at the hip. And they won't run under Linux, which is what I would like to switch to if I wasn't going to stay on Windows 10. And so I have to have a Windows machine. But I'd like to take this main computer that I've got essentially and switch it over to Linux, and then either run a virtual machine and run my my Quicken on that, or go ahead and get one of these little mini computers for about $150 now. I can get a nice little mini computer, put it in the back of one of my monitors, and put Windows 11 on it, and just kick it off.
You can buy a computer, one of those minis for $200 or $300 with Windows Home included.
Yeah, but now I saw a review on one that was $150. You know, it's not a gee whiz machine, but it runs Windows 11, and to run Quicken, that's all you need. So, and I already have a keyboard and a monitor switch, keyboard, mouse, and monitor switch, KVM.
I have stuck my neck out, and I have a prediction, and I'm still sticking with it. And that is that Microsoft, with all of the people who are still on Windows 10, they aren't going to abandon them or force them. And I think they're going to come out with another version of Windows. They may call it Windows 2025. They may call it like they did with Millennium, and in other words, give it a name. And for those people who are on Windows 10 and running a machine that will only run Windows 10, it will then be an update to Windows. And then they'll continue to update Windows 11 for those people who have machines that can do it, especially those with the AI ability.
Heard
Yeah,
something
I mean,
that there was a third party coming in to do a 5-year update for like $30 a year.
27.
Yeah.
But I thought every year it got more and more expensive, though. No,
That's
not.
Microsoft's solution. This is another company.
This is a third party. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that the operating system is for what I do with Windows 10, protecting it with a current antivirus product is all I feel I need to do with it
For Windows 10?
for Windows 10. Yeah.
And not click on a UPS notice that your package being held up and you need
I
to.
mean, Windows 10 is no longer my primary computer that I live on, so I live more on the 11 environment. So I'm not going to pay any additional money to keep a Windows 10 from being harmed. I don't have anything on there that's vital.
You guys install Windows, if you get a new computer and it's got Windows on it, do you go ahead and just wipe that and reinstall Windows, or just use it out of the box? What's the
Actually my wife's computer was failing, and it was an HP, and I was thinking about, okay, get some more memory, get an SSD, do a bunch of stuff, and then screw it. So I waited for a sale, and I looked at the review of the mini computers, and I bought about I don't remember what I paid, $400, $450. So it's a fairly, a good spec mini computer.
Yeah, that's a mid-range mini.
Yeah, and I just stuck it. I didn't mount it on her monitor or anything. I just stuck it on her desktop and replaced what she had. I backed up her data, and she didn't have any special programs that required reinstallation. She had an Office license, and I just kept that and reinstalled Office and did it. But it came with 11, and she's a gamer, so she plays Pogo games. And for whatever the reason is, Pogo doesn't like Windows 11. Maybe they've fixed things now, but it was constantly screwing up their games. And she kept complaining to me, since you put this computer in, I can't play my games. So I said, all right. So I sent an email off to tech support, and I said, okay, I'm going to downgrade this computer by installing my own copy of Windows 10, and I've got a license code for it. Do you have an installation disk that has all your, hardware drivers for Windows 10? And they said, yes, they did. And they sent me a zip file, and I just wiped the hard drive clean, did a fresh installation of Windows 10. And then I ran their driver disk and put in all their unique drivers, did updates. And so she's running Windows 10 right now. And the machine was designed for 11, apparently. But at what time in the past, they must have been sent it out with Windows 10.
And the games are working again?
Yes, the games are working fine.
Do you know the trick to make it so it doesn't install even the additional Microsoft crap?
There's maybe Huey can remember this.
Oh, I know what it is.
Go ahead.
When you're using the Windows installer disk, you create that little USB installer from Microsoft's website. Download that and create the installer. When you boot up off of that disk and you go to the install screen and you're picking the region, pick world. Don't pick US. And if you pick world, it won't put in the Spotify and all the additional things that companies pay Microsoft to add to their installer. That stuff, for the most part, is not installed. And you still get the Xbox. They install some Xbox application on every Windows installation, but for the most part, everything is pretty much, it's a clean install. So you have to remember though, when right at the beginning there, where it asks you the region, that make sure you select world, and then after the install is complete and you've created your account. Actually, that's another question. There's also a way to about creating your own local account, right? You know how to do that. Okay.
Just don't connect the cable to Ethernet, or don't activate Wi-Fi.
No, that's not that easy in Windows 11 anymore. It was with Windows 10. So Windows 10, you could just leave the cable unplugged, don't connect to Wi-Fi, and then you say, I don't have internet access, and then set up a limited, continue with limited access or something like that. With Windows 11, you have to connect it to a network. But there is a command that you can press. I think it's Shift F10, which will open up a command line, and then you have to type OOBE backslash bypass NRO. So OOBE is out of box experience, the backslash, and then bypass NRO. I forget what NRO stand for. And what that does is it'll after you press return, it'll restart the computer. But then the next time you get up to that section, you can then say, I don't have access, kind of like Windows 10. I don't have internet access, and you can create a local account and move forward. And you don't have to use that goofy Microsoft account or create a Microsoft account. You can just use a local account.
That's interesting.
When I got my new computer, what, a month or so ago, it's from Dell. And of course I had to install my name and information. And when I did, it automatically made the drive, the OneDrive, a default. And it actually, the default location for all of my downloads and documents and everything was in a folder on my OneDrive. It wasn't OneDrive. It was on a folder from a backup from 2007 that was on in my data files that was on OneDrive. And so I just, everything was in the wrong place. And I said, you know what? I probably can fix it, but why spend all that time trying to fix it? I'll just go ahead and tell it to reinstall and do it from factory fresh. And I know what not to press now. And that's what I did. And I just told it not to use OneDrive to set up. And then OneDrive is there. I can now use it. I can tell it which folders I would like to have it back up to. I can pick and choose, but now I have my document folder and my download folder on my C drive and not on OneDrive. Cool. But it was a mess until I just had to start. It was a brand new machine. So what's the difference? I just went ahead and went back to factory fresh and started anew.
Cool.
Huey, after your success with your new computer, I had looked at the one that I had been using, which was a custom computer, and it would not update Windows 11 beyond 22H2.
I have one like that too.
So I decided at that point, I looked around at maybe updating the motherboard and all that, and I said, forget that. That's just too much trouble. So I went and bought the same model you have of Dell computer. I don't think I have it quite as advanced as you do. I have an i7, and I think you have an i9 and so forth.
Correct, yeah.
But one of the first things I did when I got it, I still like the idea of physically separate data drives and system drives. So I, at the same time, bought an extra SSD card, NVMe card, and stuck it in the machine before I started it up. And now I have two SSD cards and a separate data drive, and I'm just delighted. I didn't want to take the space. I didn't want to repartition the C drive. I just wanted to leave it alone. So this gave me everything I need. And that's the way I had the old computer too, with separate drives. But on the old computer, it was a spinning drive for the data drive. Now it's a NVMe drive.
Yeah, I for most of my documents, for files that are not big, like video, for me, they live in the cloud now. I have a computer in my bedroom and living room and dining room, and no matter what computer I sit at, my documents are all in the same place on the cloud. And I don't worry about where they are on the hard drive on the physical computer itself. The computer could go away and I don't lose anything.
Does it bother anybody else but me that you have your data available to all these different people when you put it in the cloud. I use that. I share data, in particular Quicken data, like Mike has, Quicken data with my wife. We both use Quicken, and we both update Quicken data. And so I bought an NAS drive, and I've put that on my system. So basically, I have my own cloud, and any computer I have has access to the data on that cloud.
Yeah, it's interesting you should say that. I use Synology servers, NAS servers, and I know that Drew's talked about SyncThing. I use SyncThing on all my computers, and I basically set it up that the Synology, one of the Synologies is the repository. And then anytime I add, and I sync my desktop. So anytime I add something or save something to my desktop, it syncs over to the Synology, and then that distributes it out to any of the other computers that are online. And if one of those computers is off and I turn it on, it starts syncing immediately. So I can have those files, and it doesn't have to be my desktop. I mean, it could be the documents folder. It could be I have a folder that I sync with just my wife, and super handy, definitely having a NAS. And then it's your stuff. It's not going to a cloud.
Right.
I just worry about
Go ahead.
I worry about the fact that if, 2 years ago, I almost had to evacuate my house and in the hurricane, and you don't know when you're going to be able to get back to your house and what happens to your NAS. You have that problem too.
Well, I solved that by buying another NAS and putting it at my mother-in-law's house, and it syncs every night to that one. I'm overly, and I sync my NASs to Backblaze, so I've got multiple backups of that stuff. And a local backup.
I use pCloud, and I'm fairly comfortable with storing my data up there. But my Proton drive is a end-to-end encrypted drive. It only has 500 gigabytes of storage, so there are some folders in my documents that are sensitive information, and I go ahead and sync that up to Proton drive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about text files or spreadsheets or Word documents or stuff like that, it doesn't take up a lot of space. I probably have 700-800 files sitting up there right now, and I'm only using a gigabyte or so. And I also back up, when I back up my Quicken, I back it up to that drive as well as pCloud. So, and I could have some automatic synchronization. I use a program called Smart Sync Pro, and I paid for a license for that many years ago, and I continue to use it. And my pCloud drive is drive P. It's mapped to P on my computer. So usually when I start my computer up in the morning, I just manually run a sync. And before I shut it down in the evening, I run a sync. And then if I'm sitting in the other room using my Linux notebook and I need to save something after browsing somewhere, or I need to work on something, I can just get it off the pCloud and then work on it locally, and then the next morning synchronize it. But I could automate it. They have settings to start up with Windows and to run a synchronization. Plus, during the day, I could have it automatically, based on time, synchronize. And if you're really working sensitive stuff, I mean, you could say, all right, every 30 seconds, I want you to back up, which is a little bit much. So at least it's offsite, which is what I want. And I've also shared with my son, so it has a link so that he can get to it as well. And he's in Nebraska. And we used to exchange hard drives whenever we saw each other, or I'd mail it to him and he'd mail me one. And now we've stopped doing that, and I just share the folder with him.
How do you back up pCloud?
pCloud, yeah.
How do you back that up? I guess there's a back. I guess everything on your pCloud is on a computer.
You can do that. Let me just. I don't think anything sensitive is going to come up here, so let me just see what I need to do that.
And if
Let
you're
me
both
do it on,
cloud customers, you can share information.
share that and then move it over there. Okay, so if I go to SmartSync Pro, okay, so here's the icon for SmartSync Pro. If I start that, let's see if it starts it on this monitor. If it starts it on the other monitor.
Good, sir.
It's waiting for you to click yes.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, yes, I see that. All right, yes. Okay. There we go. It's going back on the main monitor. I'll wait till it starts up. Okay, so let me minimize that and minimize that. Okay. So I have various different definition files. And in essence, I have my documents folder syncing with pCloud and then common and documents. And if I just say run now, I don't know what I've changed, but it's just it starts with Windows and keeps its index files tracking anything that changed. So apparently I had 17 files that needed to be synchronized, and it just did those 17 files. I was working on my notebook earlier today, so I probably had those 17 files updated from the notebook, and they're now on the Windows computer. Plus, I can then do, this is just my documents, but if I actually want to get my pictures, I can do that. If I want to get my music, I can do that. And sometimes I'll take an external drive and do the same thing if I want to file by file.
Right. And
Now
pCloud
I
very
see that
nicely on Linux.
you've got that set up as a manual run. Do you did you say you can automatically do this?
Yeah, let me look and see what we got here in settings. So preferences, the folders, startup. Okay, so I'm not starting it at startup. I could. And then I can get an email when it's completed if I wish to put that in there. And let's
Where it says
see, I can
automate.
start it as a service. And let's see, when I actually create, let's see if I edit this.
It may not.
Okay,
It
so
may
there's
not
my
have.
source, include, exclude.
Yeah.
I was looking to see where the,
That's the folder properties. What if you right click on the actual synchronization profile on the left hand side there? Right click on that.
Yeah.
Properties at the bottom, edit profile.
Yeah, edit profile properties. Doesn't look like it.
okay,
Schedule. There you go.
yeah. So I'm doing manual start. I could do that every few minutes. I can do it at Windows startup, at Windows shutdown. That's probably what I should actually do, is have it run before shutdown.
Yep.
Every day, every week, every month. So
What are the advanced options?
where,
Just under the frequency box, it says advanced. No, down. Middle, kind of the middle of that. Left,
Yeah.
advanced.
Down below. Go down. Go down. Down a few inches.
oh, yeah, my eyes aren't seeing that.
You were looking
Okay,
at the
so
menu up on
advanced
the top.
options. So I can have an end date. Interesting. Last time I did that, it was back in 2022. And then time, run even if the scheduled time has passed, stop the profile if it runs longer than, start only if the following network connections available, wake the computer to run the profile. Now that's interesting. I wonder how it's doing that. I guess it's only, well, I suppose if it puts the computer into standby and then it's monitoring.
Yeah, it uses the
Time
wake
comes.
command on the machine.
Yeah.
But I'm confused here as to the pCloud. So this stuff is backing up. This profile here backs up your documents folder to pCloud.
Let's see if I bring up my, let's go to let's see here. Let me go to pCloud.
And then I don't use it, but doesn't the pCloud Windows app let you choose what folders you want to back up?
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
and then
I'm
it
doing,
backs up?
as you can see on this one, I'm just doing the documents folder, but I could do them all if I wish to.
But I think Drew's point is, doesn't pCloud do this stuff?
Yes, there is the ability in the program itself to tell it to synchronize. Yes.
So what would the advantage be to use Smart Sync Pro as opposed to just using pCloud?
I like the fact that I can have different definition files for different things. Like I can incorporate it. As you can see, I've got a couple of these things going to pCloud because it's going to P. And
This has more flexibility.
why am I not going to pCloud? I can't.
You had to click cancel there?
Well, I'm on the other screen. There we go. Okay, so what I wanted to do is say, here is the website. So I've got my account that's set up there. This is how, if I'm not home and not using an app, I can be on somebody else's computer and log into it and get my data if I wish. And I can also share from this screen, so I can share. And this is showing you what I've actually shared. And now they added to their service the ability to have a crypto folder. So this is end-to-end encryption. Theoretically, the same kind that's being used with Proton Mail. This was not originally a feature of pCloud, and they added it. But if you do this, it's a manual process. You actually have to go to the crypto folder and then upload to it or download from it. It doesn't work with synchronization this way.
Yeah, they've got some kind of proprietary cockamamie thing set up with that, and I don't like it.
So I tried it a couple of times, just to upload and download a few things just to see what would happen, and then decided not to use it. I'll close that.
Yep.
Okay, so.
Yep.
And there's other programs. GoodSync is one that's usually recommended.
Yeah, GoodSync is a good program.
I just happen to use SmartSync Pro because I've had it for so long, and it's a lifetime license. I don't have to pay every year.
Yeah.
And Drew, isn't there a free one that
GoodSync is available for free as long as you limit it to 3 sync profiles. You can set up 3 separate jobs as a maximum. And then they want you to pay for it.
keep the participants in chat up on that other screen in case somebody joins us?
But
and there is I'm just trying to remember how I do it. I did map the P drive on my Linux machine. I don't remember how I did it, but I was able to do it.
Have a drive letter on a Linux machine?
Yeah, I just call it P dash drive. And it shows up in my file manager, and then that's how, when I'm downloading something from the internet, I want it to be on my Windows machine the next day.
Yeah,
I download it to that folder, and then
the Linux client for pCloud is very nice.
Yeah, that's what I thought I did. I just didn't remember doing it.
Yeah, you must have set up the Linux client for pCloud, because that's exactly what it does on mine.
Okay.
Mike, is your primary computer is Windows? I thought you were using Linux, no?
I have 3 computers that I use on a regular basis. So the one I'm using right now is a Windows 10 computer. It's actually one of the ones that we built in the CFCS Build Your Own Computer series way back when, with twice updated motherboards. So it's on its 3rd iteration.
Wow.
And then next to it on my left, which you can't see, is an old Hewlett Packard Core i7 machine, many, many, many years old. which was my main computer before the build your own computer one, and I kept it. And about the only thing I did to it is put an SSD into it and put a good cooler on it because it was running hot.
Mhm.
I actually went in there and took the old cooler off and cleaned the chip and put a new cooler on, and I put Linux on that. So that's running Linux Mint. And then I did a build your own framework notebook computer, which I think I did a video on and showed it back when we did it. And that I put Linux on it and run that. Pretty much, I don't play with the Linux at all on that. It's just on there, and as I think an operating system should be, it just shuts up and does its thing. I don't do anything special except let it update itself. And I'll use it for word processing. I'll use it for browsing the web. I'll use it for watching YouTube videos. If I actually want to type into the comments, I'll watch it that way. And occasionally I'll do some word processing on it, and then just put it up on pCloud and pick it up the next day here in my office. So 2 Linux computers and 1 Windows 10 computer. I did have a Chromebook, but it's aged out. Hugh and I had the same Chromebook way back when.
Why haven't you gone to Windows 11?
Well, number one, because none of the computers qualify, so I'd have to buy a new computer at this stage, or I'd have to hack it. And I just decided not to go that direction. I have, in the computers that I've done for friends, there was a period of time when I had a notebook for a friend of a friend, and a woman who did mostly playing games and Facebook, and it was totally infected. It was beyond, and it was eligible for Windows 11, and she had Windows 10 on it. So I just wiped it clean, put Windows 11 on, and activated it with her Microsoft account. And she was busy, or she was with family or whatever, so I had a chance to play with it for a couple of weeks. In fact, I called Huey a couple of times about the installation, and it was okay. I mean, I just didn't want to do it.
Fair enough.
As I said, I would put Linux on this machine, except for the fact I really do need to run Quicken. And I've got a Camtasia license, and I just paid for another year of that. And I know there's video editing stuff available on Linux, but now I've got Camtasia for another year. I might as well keep using it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they haven't come out with a Linux version, so.
I was going to buy another Snagit license before they switched to subscription, and I didn't get it in time, and you can't buy it anymore.
You saying now you can't? Oh, you can subscribe to Snagit.
Up until a few months ago, you could purchase Snagit outright. Now you have to buy a subscription.
I think I have Snagit 2023 that came with Malwarebytes as a package. There were 8 different apps all bundled together with a Malwarebytes special. I don't remember if that was Black Friday or what it was last year. And I went ahead and I got it because Snagit was one of the ones you could get.
Yeah,
My Snagit expired a few years. Well, my Snagit expired a few years ago. I went ahead and applied to get a education version, which is the same thing. It's just cheaper, and I got it. And now when I update it each year, it's only it's about half price or less.
Huh.
And so I've been updating it every year. And they automatically send me the notice and update me, and I get it cheap. So.
And Snagit is like a screen snapshot program or something.
Yeah, it's among other things. It will do video. It does pictures. It'll read data from anywhere on your screen. You can, it'll record your screen and scroll. And so if you've got a real long page, you can get the whole page in one document.
Uh-huh. Huh.
Yeah, and I purchased 2023, and then I wanted to get one more license for one more computer, and I didn't do it in time to buy a license. Now you have to buy the subscription.
According to TechSmith, the license that I just got, which was for 2024, it is a license. And if I want 2025, I'm going to have to buy it. But it's a lifetime a license for 2024. I just won't get the maintenance updates beyond the current 12-month period. And I had thought when I got the Snagit that it included the maintenance update for Camtasia. I found out it didn't. I had 2019 Camtasia and hadn't updated it since then.
Right.
They had a renewal price, and then they had a military discount, which took some percentage off. And then I said, there's a site that I always go to when I'm buying something expensive. It's called retailmenot.com. Been around for many years. And they have codes and coupon codes and special deals, whatever. So, okay. I just put in TechSmith and they had a code for 25% off. And then I wonder if that will stack with the military discount. So there was a place to put a coupon code on the order form. And after I got the military discount, I got another 25% off. So what was supposed to have been like 180 something was wound up to be like 117 something for 2020.
Yeah, see, I think they're getting a little greedy with Snagit because I'm looking at their purchase price right now. They want $40, $39 a year, billed yearly per computer. And that to me is too much.
Yeah. Maybe you should apply for the education license.
Well, what's interesting is they have, if you upgrade to the small teams version, you can pay $62.99 per user billed once. And it's a perpetual license. So you're almost better off that way, I think.
Yeah.
But $40 a year, I have 3 computers. I don't want to pay $40 per computer per year for a screen capture utility.
Yeah, it's too much.
I just put the retail me not in the chat.
Especially since there's another program that I use called KSnip. And KSnip does about 70% of what Snagit does. And that's what I use on my third computer.
Is that Windows and Linux?
Yes, it is.
I first got Snagit free at Comdex. That's how long I've been using it.
And ClipJam. Or Clipmate. Clipmate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been using
Clipmate I ordered and purchased, and they're no longer in business.
Yeah.
And I had some issues. I had some issues with it. I'm not using it now.
Good. Let me just share the screen real quick. I don't think there's anything sensitive on there. Let's see what it's got on there. So get rid of that, get rid of that. There's my Clipmate clips. And
yeah,
you can see, I don't even know what code that was for, so I'm not going to worry about it, but I'll just go past it. So it's just a running, that's going back, let's see, to the 11th, and it's on a rotating basis. It kicks the old out and keeps the new. But if you wish, you can put things into folders, and the folders do not automatically delete. And then you can have a safe, which is encrypted. And you can actually go into this and right click on it and say encrypt, and it will encrypt it and it'll put a password on it. So you can double protect what's on there. So I know that the new Windows 11 now has the ability to have a clip, what do they call it, a clipboard, so that you can rotate through your, or no, clipboard is what do they call it on Windows 11, Huey? I'm trying
Well,
to,
they have clipboard history.
yeah, it's clipboard history,
Yeah,
but I thought
clipboard
they
history,
gave it
yeah.
a name. Yeah.
It's Windows key, the Windows V instead of Control V, and it'll bring up all of the clips that you've done today. If you shut down your computer and turn it back on, it's empty.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah,
want
that's
on your Linux laptop, Mike, try out KSnap, and you'll have
Yeah, I
almost
will.
you'll have almost Snagit. It lets you draw boxes and lines and arrows and text, and it doesn't do video.
I put a link to some Snagit alternatives that are free. KSnap's in there as part of the list.
Yeah, KSnap's a great program. And then I use a program called PickPick to do the scrolling captures. PickPick is able to do that same thing that Snagit does, where you can capture a scrolling window.
Neat.
And that's also open source.
So Drew, aside from everything tech in on your daily life, what's your current project?
My current project right now is to finish preparing for my speech tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. You're on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. I went swimming. Every time I go to my niece's house, I somehow manage to go swimming with something in my pocket. And a few months ago, it was my wallet. And this past Saturday, it was my phone. And I was swimming in her pool for about an hour or an hour and a half before I stuck my hand down, and I had no reason to reach into my pocket while I was swimming in the pool. And before I discovered that I had my phone, it was still in my pocket.
Oh man.
And so I learned over the weekend what it's like to recover from having using strong passwords and a password manager and two-factor authentication, and being at my niece's house who only had a Mac. And I was trying to get logged on to my phone company to order a new phone. And they wouldn't let me in because they wanted to verify who I was by sending me an email. Well, they wanted to send me an email to an account that wanted two-factor authentication. And I couldn't get the email. So I got stuck. And I figured out a solution for it that I'm presenting tomorrow. At one of our last get-togethers that we had at Stug, we gave away to all the volunteers a flash drive and a keychain holder. And I use KeePass XC as my primary password manager anyway. And it runs in 4 flavors. It has a Windows portable version that doesn't have to be installed. It just runs. It has a Windows installer, a Mac installer, and a Linux installer. And I keep all of those on that flash drive, including my password database. And now I can be at her house and plug that flash drive in, load my KeePass database, do my two-factor. KeePass is capable of not only doing passwords and user IDs, but it can also be a TOTP two-factor authenticator. So I have my secret keys for my two-factor authentication stored in a KeePass database. And I was able to circumvent my situation by utilizing the Mac version of KeePass to generate the two-factor code that Google wanted to let me in.
Were you
By the way,
able,
this is the drive. It's got the USB A and a USB C.
Yep,
So you can use either one.
yep.
Does
And
it-
I
does
carry
it-
that on my keychain now.
does it have the installation program for KeyPass so that if you're going somewhere that the person doesn't have KeyPass, you can install?
Yes, I keep the Linux, the Mac, and the Windows installers on there. Yep.
Just don't keep your keys in the same pocket with your phone when you go swimming.
Were you able to recover the phone, or is the phone kaput?
The phone is kaput. The phone is going back to the insurance company. Um,
So you didn't
I'm
have
on-
a jar of rice to drop it in?
well, I didn't even bother to try. They replaced my S21 regular plain version with an S23 plus version. So I've got an upgrade from two models newer and a model up, and the battery is bigger and lasts longer, and it's not 4 years old. And I use an open source two-factor authentication program called 2FAS that automatically backs up its data to Google. So when I launched the new phone for the first time, and I logged into Google and it reinstalled all of my apps, it automatically, when it launched it the first time, imported all of my data. So I have all my two-factor authentication codes for all my servers back. Automatically came into the program. The only thing that kept me off my new phone for an additional day was I didn't know until I got the new phone that the SIM card is also not waterproof. I had to wait an extra 24 hours to get a new SIM card because it died in the water as well.
So now that's interesting because I didn't think there's any active electronics in a SIM card. It's just
The new SIM
a
card,
circuit board.
when I turned on my new phone and I told it to search for a signal, it went out and found, Visible and AT&T and Sprint and everything was all on the list. Only with my SIM card plugged in, it wouldn't connect to the network. It absolutely refused.
So
My
water
phone company sent me a new SIM card the next day. I put it in and it popped right on.
and it didn't use an eSIM, I assume then.
Well, I wanted to use a real SIM card. I could have used an eSIM. I wanted to keep my eSIM slot free in case I needed to use it. I have a Magic Jack phone line, so I have that software on my tablet, and unfortunately my dog has been sick, and I've been taking her to the doctor and getting calls from the doctors, and they've been calling me on my Magic Jack line on my tablet while I'm hooked up to Wi-Fi someplace, until I got my new phone running, because it died on a Saturday, and they didn't ship me the new phone until Monday for Tuesday delivery. And then it took until Wednesday to get the actual new SIM chip. So I was between Saturday and Wednesday, I was tied to Wi-Fi for phone calls. And I've learned a few lessons. I learned that the Microsoft Authenticator by default does not back up anything. I had 3 Microsoft accounts in my Microsoft Authenticator app, and in settings, you can turn on the option to have it back up to OneDrive. Only I didn't have it turned on because I didn't realize I had to. And so my Microsoft Authenticator is still whacked. I don't have all of it back yet. But I cross authenticated everything. So what was missing from my Microsoft Authenticator is in my 2FAS Authenticator. So it took a while. I'd been talking a lot on my tablet. And when my phone was getting set up, I had to add 4 or 5 Gmail account. Every time I added a new account, it wants to send you an authentication code to verify that you're who you are. So it sent that to my tablet. And if I didn't have a tablet to send it to, I don't know what I would have done. I had a second physical Android device that it could send codes to. If I didn't have that device, I don't know what I would have done.
I'm just looking at my Google Authenticator right now. There's no setting in it to tell it to back up, but next to my logo, there's a little cloud with a check mark in it.
Well, my friendly shoppers, and welcome back.
Sorry.
When I first started using two-factor authentication, the Google Authenticator didn't offer the option to back up. It was either, if you had to reinstall, you had to have the codes, which I do now have in a separate database. I keep all my codes in a database.
Yeah, it says, I just clicked on the cloud and it says your codes are being saved to your Google account.
Yeah, it does that now. But if you have the Microsoft Authenticator app, it has an on-off switch. And mine was in the off position.
I thought I did it one time. I don't think I do anymore.
You think they would make that a default, or have a piece of logic in there that when you go to launch it, it'll recognize you're not being backed up and say, hey, do you want to back this up? Does anybody else use a Microsoft Authenticator?
I thought I did once, but I don't. I'm looking now and I don't see it.
I know people that has bitten, and if you're using that for your rotating two-factor codes and that goes away, that's a real problem. You got to reach out to all these companies, and it's a manual process. It's ridiculous.
Well, what I do is when you sign up for a two-factor authentication, some websites will offer you the option to scan a QR code.
Mm-hmm.
And I always recommend that people never ever do that, because I keep a separate KeyPass database that does not have my passwords in it. It only has the website and the secret key for the two-factor authentication. So by itself, it can't log into the website. And by itself, the password database can't get the two-factor authentication codes.
Mm-hmm.
When I sign up for a website, I say, no, I don't want the QR code. Tell me a secret key. And it gives you a 15-digit code. And I store that in a database. And I can recreate my password authenticator from that database.
Mike, where do you look for the Microsoft Authenticator?
I just went to my all programs, and then
It's
just
in the App Store. It's in the Google Play App Store.
So I didn't see it on my all programs.
You want your all programs and what?
I probably should share my phone screen, but I don't have it set up for doing that. So I'm actually.
It's on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on Windows. It's not a Windows app.
Oh, okay.
And I'm swiping up from the bottom on my Android phone to all apps. And then I looked at authenticators. I've got the Google Authenticator that actually says Authenticator as the name. And then I have an authenticator that is used by our CPA firm. And I guess there's other things besides the firm in it, but I have to use their authenticator to get into my account there. They won't use anybody else's. And then I went down and I said, okay, how about under Microsoft? And I don't see it. I've got the Microsoft account, which is also OneDrive, and Copilot showed up on it. That's the first time I realized I had Copilot on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I also have Microsoft SwiftKey as my keyboard on Android, because I like the touch swipe keyboard. But I don't see. I think I had it on my prior phone, on my Pixel 6, but I don't now on the 8th.
Well, my
But,
phone just rang, so I know where my phone is anyway. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get it. See.
Okay. All right.
I'm not a big fan of the Microsoft Authenticator app, right, as of now.
Not bad.
Fortunately, it really didn't screw me up too much. What screwed me up the most, and I'm still in bad shape, is with Mike's favorite website, the
Discord?
what's the name? Discord.
Ah,
I logged into, I was reinstalling things, and you have to re-log into things. And somehow I I went to a website and it asked me if I wanted to join its Discord. And I said yes, because I wanted to get to their tech support site. And I punched in my phone number, and somehow it transferred my phone number out of my Discord account into a brand new Discord account that I got no idea what the heck it is. And now my real Discord account won't let me add my phone number. That's my phone number because it says some other account has my phone number. And the other account is some stupid, I don't know what it is.
on any Discord channel, as long as the server king, if you will, allows you, there's a little head and shoulder icon that normally Discord comes up like this particular screen. And I always keep it with the head and shoulder, which shows your member list. So this particular member list goes back to when we started our Discord back in 2000. I don't remember, 20 something or other, 12. Let's just out of curiosity.
And I'm halfway down the list there, right in the middle.
Yeah, let's see if I remember correctly. This goes back to 2020. 6/29/2020 is when we started this thing to try it out. And then we had all kinds of people jump in. And there you are, Drew. And people today who don't realize that they've got their accounts, because, like, for example, Forrest is in here twice. And there's Harry. And
Mark.
Ken. So we've got a bunch of people in here that have never come back. There's Pete, and he's been on regularly. But there's people here that have never come back. Now Stan is in here twice. And so what happens essentially is, and Ted Goodwin is in here a few times. So when I send out an invite, technically speaking, they should prompt you to log in if you think you have an account. And then if you forget your password, you go through the forgotten password thing and then get our link and come in here and join the group if you're not in. Or if you were in and you had logged into Discord, it would have just brought you in and showed you the updates. So a lot of people are starting up again. I guess I can go through, I probably should go through and just close out all these accounts of people that I are no longer in it and just let them come in for starters. But I have had that situation. I joined another channel that's related to veterans, and the moderator has got his own YouTube channel. And then if you join the YouTube channel, you get his Discord, which is over here. And I made sure that I didn't create a new account in Discord so that I had the same account. And when that happens, then you get multiple servers that show up in this column. Plus, if you just want to go out and look for other servers, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of servers out there now. On any topic
I belong to a bunch of them, but that Drew 333 is no longer linked to my real phone number.
Interesting. Yeah, let's see what it says here. Yeah.
Back to Microsoft Authenticator.
Yep.
If you put that into Copilot, it tells you how to get it.
But I'm sticking with my 2FAS authenticator. It reinstalled automatically. It pulled in all the information automatically. It automatically backs up to Google, and it gives you a second option to back it up to a file if you want to give it to a third-party person.
Well, write us a little blurb for the BBS and stick it under utilities or security.
Well, I'll take my
2FAS.
presentation that I'm putting together for tomorrow and throw it up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dick, what have you been involved with this last month?
As little as possible.
Well, you did get a new computer, you said. How long have you had it now?
What, about 3-4 weeks?
Ah, okay.
And when I first got it, I did something or other to it, and it got all screwed up. So I spent a good hour and a half online with Dell and some gentleman in India who was very helpful. And I wound up reinstalling Windows, and that seemed to cure the problem. But I've been delighted with it. I got the extra, what do I want to say, graphics card, so that I have 3 monitors, so I can get to the 3 monitors, and that worked out well, and everything else is attached. I took my data drive on the old computer and backed it up to my NAS drive, and then so I didn't lose anything, and I can bring things over onto this computer, onto my data drive as I wish, or just leave them on the NAS drive, which I've done with most of the stuff. I find I've just collected a bunch of stuff I don't need anymore.
I have stuff like that as well, I'm sure. It's just, do I have the time to spend to try to clean stuff up?
Exactly.
Hey, Dick,
Yeah.
what kind of NAS drive do you have?
A Buffalo.
Do you have it backed up?
Do I have the NAS drive backed up? I do not at the moment.
Yeah.
I do have that.
Is it a single disk or a RAID, or what kind of?
It's a single disk, as far as I know. It's 2 terabytes.
Okay, yeah.
I do have pCloud drive. I could back it up to my pCloud drive.
Okay.
On my pCloud drive, I did get the crypto folder, and I think that was an extra cost, wasn't it, Mike, to get that? And I
think it came with, I don't remember if I paid extra or not. I think it comes with it now.
It comes free for an extra $150.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember. Maybe it was part of when they were, doing, every year they would do a special, either Black Friday or 4th of July or Memorial Day or whatever the specials were, the family specials.
No, I did the Black Friday special, and I paid $240 for the 2 terabytes for life.
Yeah.
And then an additional $150 for the crypto.
I guess I did then. I don't remember.
I gotta go, guys.
Okay, we'll see you, Huey.
Yep.
Hi, Huey.
Thanks for joining us.
I do.
Sean, what have you got?
Yeah, I've got can I share my screen, or?
I think you can. If not, I can probably authorize you to. Let me see here. Sean, and make co-host. Yes. All right, you should be able to share your screen.
Okay. Let's see, Firefox. Oh, hold on. I may need to restart the meeting. Let's see.
May take a second.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Stan, your power is on now, right? I can see lights in your room.
Yes, I'm here. I had to go adjust body weight. So I just got back. Did you guys discuss the 88.5 million computers that got screwed up and involving all sorts of airlines and
Yeah, what was it,
My-
chain
my-
something or other?
My sister and brother-in-law are stuck in Knoxville, Tennessee because of Delta.
incredible. And what blew my mind was that 8.5 million is only it's less than 1% of the Microsoft computers that are used in the world. So I guess
And Southwest was not affected because they were still running Windows 95
right.
Yeah.
And XP.
So-
and XP. Yeah.
Well, amazing.
So what do you
Well,
want to
if
try?
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
13 billion people on the world. I guess 850 million Microsoft computers. Isn't that money?
Well, I can't do anything about it, so not
Yep.
my concern.
Yeah. My sister was supposed to fly home yesterday or today. Yesterday, yeah. And she won't be home till tomorrow at the earliest.
Nothing like having the software update right in the middle of everything. The Zoom software. Okay. Share screen. So I think I may have posted. I recently upgraded to or changed service to AT&T fiber, and
Yeah, that looks like my modem.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's great. Getting 13 megabits up and down. Is that what you're getting, Mike?
I took the 300 instead of the 1 gig.
Okay.
They just sent me another offer in the mail, a $100 Visa card and something else, but they wanted to take me from the $50 up to $70. And I just said, okay, everything I do at 300 megabits a second, I'm not getting any buffering. I'm able to watch all the shows.
Oh, 300 is plenty.
Yeah, it's plenty.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't have AT&T cell then?
No, I don't have their cell. No.
Okay. Yeah, because mine's 62 per month for the internet, but we do have an AT&T cell. So anyway, so I'm very happy with it. I put this into they don't have bridge mode, but I put it into it's called IP forwarding mode or something different. But I upgraded to a new where is it? This Netgate. I don't have it installed yet, but this Netgate router, which runs pfSense, which is a firewall software that I really enjoy using. It's not cheap. It was almost $600. But the reason I got this particular model is it can go up to 10 megabits. So, or 10
gigabits.
10 gig. Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
It's a 10 gig capable. Of course, I'm not using that now, but I do know that I could have gotten 5 gigabit if I wanted. So I wanted to have something that was, and I will have to upgrade some switches and so forth in the house to actually take advantage of that. So
Go back to the screen of the AT&T router.
Okay.
That you just had.
This one?
Yeah, but you had a picture of the back. You had a picture of it. Device, yeah. I think that's it. No, but it actually showed it. Had a picture. I saw it and I said, yeah, that's mine. I've got it. I just wanted to show you the socket that's on the back that's actually designed for, I think, up to 10 gigabits. It actually says, let me see what it says up there on the router, if I can read it. Not enough light in my room, but it's.
Sean, you had the picture of the router itself.
Yeah.
Well, that was on the login screen, and
okay.
I don't know how to log out of this.
It has a. Let me see if my flashlight will actually
pick it up?
It says ONT. It's for advanced configuration. Ethernet. Yeah. Oh, phone. It's supposedly I could plug a phone in too, but they told me that the phone wasn't activated. They're supposed to do voice over IP, or this particular thing is supposed to support it.
Here's the photo.
Okay. So that red socket that's up there,
Yeah.
top, that's the one that's supposed to, I think, go up to 10 gigabits.
Oh, okay.
So the other ones that are yellow are five gigabits.
Okay.
Mistaken.
Yeah, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm happy with it. The speed is fantastic. I think it'll get even better when I have the new router installed. So okay, so we talked a little bit about mini computers. I found this computer on I get those Slick Deal emails or Deal News or whatever they are, and I saw this and I thought, oh, that looks like a pretty good deal. It is capable of Windows 11. And the specs, though, it's a Ryzen 9 processor, up to 4.9 gigahertz. I've got it as bare bones, so I installed a gig NVMe card, and I think I put 64 gigs of RAM in it. I have not installed the operating system yet, but I would like to install Proxmox or one of those hypervisors on it to be able to run Windows and Linux and so forth at a decent speed. So I will hopefully have more information by the next time we meet on that. I also posted, and I think Mike, you and I have both purchased, but you didn't really like the Tableau. This is my third experience now with a Tableau of this model. I've got a friend of mine bought this he lives up in Altamont, and I don't know how many channels he's getting, but he's very happy with it. He got it just like this with the Tableau itself, and then the external antenna that you put up in a window. I bought one of these for my dad up in Illinois, and he lives 50 or between 50 and 60 miles from downtown Chicago, and he's able to get 120 channels.
Wow.
This antenna with the tree in the way. So he's pretty happy with that. I recently bought one. This is now my second Tableau on my network. I just love this thing. So I went ahead and bought another one. This is when you have more money than brains. So there's no real reason to have this, but I thought I'm going to try it. So I put this Tableau in on the second floor in a room where I'm sitting here, put the antenna in the window. Again, there's a tree out here. I get 140 channels with this thing. It's aiming east towards Bithlow.
Yep.
And the quality is outstanding. So I can't recommend this thing anymore. It's just, I can't say much better about this. That's not true. One of the things, it says no subscriptions, and that's true. There are no subscriptions. And one of the things I would like to have as a subscription is the channel, the commercial skip. My old Tableau, the generation prior to this, which I still have, I pay for a subscription to skip the channels or skip the commercials. And I don't know why they're not doing that on this, other than I heard that Tableau was recently purchased by another company, and maybe that other company doesn't really want you to skip the commercials, I only guess. But it does give you the old Tableau. I had to pay. I could get free channel listings for up to 2 days out, but I pay for the 14 days out. This new one, it's 14 days, no subscription. It just, you get 14 days worth of channel listings. So that part's nice. The only thing I miss on this is I miss that the commercial skip. Showed you that. Okay, so this I bought these back in February, and it's been a while since I've talked really in one of these meetings. But I bought this switch bot. We've got blinds all through our house, And I mainly wanted to be able to open and close the living room blinds and the dining room blinds, which is actually a total of 7 individual blinds. And the SwitchBot blind tilt works great. It's a little bit to set up, but once you set it up, and it automatically recharges the battery with this little solar panel that you put in the window, and you can set it to every day at a certain time, or you can go by, when the sun rises or the sunset is. So I've got this set to open every morning at 8 a.m. and then the time that it closes varies on when the sun sets. So works really well. So well that we went on vacation and they just opened and closed. I probably should have turned that off, but it was. I mean, the battery didn't wear out. It gets recharged, works quite well.
Is that compatible with specific makes of blinds, or does it have different accessories? Like if your blinds have the little ball chain that opens and closes, have to pull on the chain and.
No, it has to have the stick.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
there's sticks of various, as you probably know, there's sticks of various widths. So
Mhm.
there's little adapters that come in the package. A lot of, most of them you just throw away. You just find the one that is the right size for your blinds, put that on there, and then it clamps. There's actually click on this little piece right here is the gear. Inside of that, there's various size of adapters you can put in there, so that thing will hug the actual pole. And yeah, and then you just set it up, and it just works really well. It looks like this once it's installed, so it's not real obtrusive. I use it's something called I think it's called the SwitchBot Hub, which I think I bought it as a package. So the hub sits on a table in the room. The hub actually it also tells the temperature of the room. I think there's something else on it, but that is actually what uses the low power Bluetooth to send the signals to these blind openers and closers. So very happy with that. I think this is and then you can either use the SwitchBot hub by pressing a button on it, or I bought one of these little SwitchBot remote controls, and I just put this on the wall next to a light switch, and I set it. You can program these buttons. I programmed the top one to open and the bottom one to close. That's simple. But you can do other things like have it do I set it up to when you push the top button, it runs a scene called open all blinds. But I could have it just open one blind if I wanted to, or whatever. So that works pretty well. We went on a cruise back in April, and I bought these rechargeable battery lights. I don't know if you guys any of you are into cruising, but it's pretty dark at night. And these are little motion sensor lights that have magnets on the back. And of course, a cruise ship, all the walls in your room on a cruise ship are typically metal. So and included the ceiling. So I put one of these in the bathroom and one on the ceiling just outside the bathroom. So as soon as you get up, the light comes on, and it doesn't wake in my case, my wife, it doesn't wake her up. And if she gets up, it doesn't wake me, but it lets us see our way around. So not very expensive. It was $16 for the two of them. I think you can get these cheaper, like on Temu, or if you look harder, you can find better deals. But and they're just rechargeable battery. They only work. They're light sensors, so the only time the lights come on is if it's dark, and then if there's motion, they will turn on. So, and I actually have lights like this around our house. In fact, I brought these back. Of course, I didn't leave them in the ship. I brought them back with us, and I just placed them on top of the on top of the jamb around some of our doors. So at night we don't have to turn lights on. If we walk around, the lights, if it's dark, after we've gone to bed, if we happen to go into another room, that light will come on. And again, it doesn't intrude on somebody else sleeping. So anybody heard of Zoho?
Yeah.
So I just discovered Zoho. My wife and I are, at some point we'd like to get an Airstream, a camper, and we watch these videos on YouTube. And there's a particular YouTuber named 13 Adventures. That's their channel name. And I signed up for their newsletter or something, and I got an email, or I noticed that their email, when it came from the newsletter, went to my spam folder. So I'm pretty astute with email. So I did some lookups on their MX hosting, for their server. Oh no, I know what happened. They use Gmail, just a Gmail account, and that sometimes will trigger it to go into spam. So I reached out to them, and I explained that it was going to my spam folder, and I'd be happy to help them set up. I wouldn't charge them. I'd be happy to help them set up an official domain with like Google Workspace. And the guy, he replied real quickly, and actually we wound up talking on the telephone. And I think he's going to do it, but he was a little bit reluctant on the $6 a month fee for Google Workspace, which is like a professional Gmail account. But with a Google Workspace account, I can set it up so that I've got all the proper things in there, so when the email comes to people's inboxes, it doesn't go to that spam, which I'm sure he would appreciate. But in his reluctancy for the $6 a month service, I started poking around, did some research, and I found that Zoho, you can actually host with Zoho with your domain for $1 a month. So, and I actually went to the extent of buying a domain just to test it out. I bought a domain for $7, and then I bought a Zoho account for $12. So I was all in for under $20 just to see if I could get it to work right, and I did. But with regards to Zoho, you can actually, it's got all kinds of really cool features. One of them is an invoicing system. So in this, for folks, most of you I think may be retired, but if you run a business, you can have this free invoicing service, and you can put all your clients in here and create invoices, and you can have products and stuff if you sell products, or different kinds of consulting, whatever. Fill out invoices, and then it will email the invoice on behalf of you to your client, and then they can pay through the invoice and so forth. I just thought this was really cool, and for free. This particular, you can pay for a lot of the Zoho things, but this particular thing with the invoicing is their thing is it's free forever. They're never going to charge. They say they're never going to charge for this particular product on their suite of tools or apps. So I just thought that was neat. But the Zoho,
I think we're paying something like $36 for the hosting of CFCS.org. I'm trying to remember. It's like a three-year period or something like that, and we're right in the middle of it. And we're in the process of rehosting that domain name with APCUG, who said that they would use their as part of a service of APCUG, they would use their service to host CFCS.org if we want to transfer it, or if we wanted to, it would be cfcs.apcug.org or something like that.
What do they use? Do you know what service they use?
No, I don't. I've got Judy Tallur offered that when we had our board of directors meeting, and that's on one of my to-do lists once we get our fictitious name, and once we actually shut the ink, dissolve the ink, if you
But
would.
guys, the Zoho is a replacement for Zoom. It's actually
And we've done that. Yeah, we've done that too.
When we did that, I asked them 4 times, did they have anything in the works for closed captioning? And they never even answered. So for those of us who need to have the letters on the bottom so we know what everybody's saying, Zoho is just out of the question from my standpoint.
And they were also charging for things.
That's another product as well. I was talking more about the mail in the invoicing, and I'm sorry to hear they didn't respond. But I didn't. I did have to interact with them. I had an issue setting up the domain, and I reached out, and they were pretty quick to reply and get my my account set up correctly. So
We're on a 30-day trial, and they are still sending me emails to come, join them for this or that seminars, I guess. But I did get an answer to
something that, and I wish I had known about this long time ago, but Google Workspace, Google offers free Google Workspace accounts to nonprofit organizations, which I know CFCS is not going to be that anymore, but it might be something worth bringing up to your folks that are going to be hosting, that if they look into it, Google, you could have a Google hosting of your email, which is outstanding. I'm very happy. I pay for it with my for my account, for my email. That's where I host my email now, and it's great. I haven't had any problems with it. It's rock solid, easy to set up on devices because it's really Gmail. I mean, I when I go to set up my, even though it's my own personal domain, when I go to set up on on a tablet or a phone, I click on Gmail, put in my credentials for my domain, and it recognizes that it is on the Google backbone. So, but who was going to host the
APCUG as a service will host any computer user group's website. Well, the domain, and then if you've got your own HTML editor and you want to upload it to it and have your website up there, that's fine. But it's a hosting service that they offer, and it's included in our dues.
Okay.
And
well, the next time you talk to them, just mention Google Workspace for nonprofits, because they should, if they're paying for their mail, the mail and website are separate, right? But if they're paying for their mail, for the hosting of their mail, they don't really need to be. They could use Google Workspace, and that's something that they'll do for free for the nonprofits.
we'll see you, Harry.
They will.
So, okay, that's it for me.
Okay. Well, we're getting on to almost 2 hours at this point anyway. So
Sean, do you have any drone pictures that you'd like to talk about?
I don't have, let's see.
especially if you were in Bethel, Pennsylvania.
No, apparently he took some drone shots before that happened.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I did a drone video on the 4th of July. Just put it in my driveway, sent it straight up and aimed it towards downtown. So I got the fireworks. Didn't turn out too great because the wind was blowing in the wrong direction. So I got a lot of cloudy smoke instead of the nice fireworks. You could see them, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. So I need to get more into the drone. Also need to get it licensed, and maybe I can make some money with it.
I am constantly impressed. I have to be impressed. I've mentioned this guy before. His name is Martin Dugard, and he's a cyclist who rode a bicycle around the world, and he is now retired to the Italian Alps. And he does a weekly series on YouTube, about a half hour, very professionally done, and it incorporates excellent drone videos. And he flies that thing up into the Alps in some of the most amazing conditions of wind, and his GPS stabilization is impeccable. His follow me stuff that he has done when he's driving this little four-wheel SUV up on these mountain roads, and he launches this thing and then says, follow me. And this thing follows him, staying out of the trees and all the rest of that stuff. And then he'll have it up, and he'll pull it away, and he's still driving up these zigzag roads, and it's following him down there. Dugard is, I think it's, Martin was got a J in it because he's out from Holland, and Dugard, I think it's Duguard, something similar. But it's just interesting. He's a MacGyver kind of guy. He can build anything just by looking at plans or draw his own plans and then build it. And
Neat.
he's been doing that for 3 years now up in the Italian Alps.
Very cool. Well, that could be a DJI drone that he has. That's what mine does. All those things you just mentioned. Yeah, pretty cool. Of course, you pay for that. It was
Oh,
$1,000.
yes.
Mine was $1,000. That's $1,000 drone.
Yeah, my little $40 drone is wasted money, but
Yeah, it
anyway,
was something to toy with.
it was a toy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's it for this month.
Nothing from Stan?
No,
The lights are on.
All right.
too many things in the air to even be thinking about it. Tomorrow I have a guy coming to do a 4-point inspection. I'm renewing my insurance. I talked to Mike earlier. We had a lightning strike and it took out my pool pump. I thought I was all fixed with it, but we put in a pool heater and that's not been working. And it turns out I have to replace a 2-breaker breaker box tomorrow. I need that guy's name and number, Mike, please.
Oh, yes, James, home James. I'll get that for you. Yep.
And there's something else going on. I've forgotten what it is, but anyway, I told you I did get the battery for the US
USB?
uninterruptible power supply, and also got a battery for the Lenovo laptop. They were about $20 each, and they're working fine. So
UPS.
UPS, yeah, that's right.
that's
Okay.
All right. Well, good to see everyone.
Okay, all, I will stop the recording and
thanks for coming.
get this posted
See you next time.
as soon as I find it.